I wanted to, since I'm dealing with these four guys, the music of their lives would have been the music in the film. At that time, a rap group that I was, listening to their music was Public Enemy. I wanted the philosophy behind that sound. And I wanted the man who masterminded that sound. And that man was Hank Shocklee. And once he got involved, that's how we were able to bring in so much other talent on the soundtrack.
Oh, you ready?
I got the Juice hat. You know what I feel like? I feel like I play for the Giants. And like or at the end of a Met game, Dwight Gooden them come out there, just you see somebody just throw a hat on here.
Right.
Wear a New York hat on so it make
I'm Hank.
And I'm Keith. And we're the Shocklee brothers. Come down the corner. They had the idea to do the street movie. And who's better to do street music? For us, the Bomb Squad. But, they came to us and we said, we saw the screened another movie, we liked it. And
we've worked with Ernest Dickerson with Spike Lee when we did Fight the Power for Do the Right Thing. So that was our first, first taste of movie, of doing something in the movie. We also did the Flavor Flav song in House Party as well. And then once Ernest made his movie, and it wasn't for the producers of the movie. I think the producers, Neil, Peter, and David, as gave us the confidence to just say, well, look, you guys can do this, because we didn't think we could do a movie score because we didn't know anything about it.
What's up? The score was like all we just try to do is basically fit the music to the scene or the mood of the scene. Like, when Q came out, it's, we try to make it sort of eerie, sort of hollow, so it'd be sort of like wind.
The scoring is I think that was probably the fun part of it, because what we do is when we make records, we try to make records like movies or movie scores. When we did Ice Cube, we did PE, all the PE records, we try to have the music be very visual. And once you gave us, you give us like the visuals to work with, then it's easy, because the hardest thing is to take, just words, that the artist would give us, Chuck D or Ice Cube just have a page of words, and we have to create a scenario. Well, the scenario is already created, so it's pretty easy. Now all we have to do is put theme music to whatever scene that we're seeing. We want to make it like a horror movie in a way. So the scoring is taken behind like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween or Freddy. So we use the score to whenever you saw Bishop, if you notice, there's always this tone or some sort of some sort of synth, some sort of deep sharp bass sound, or sometimes there was 808s that we would use that add to like a heartbeat situation to create the desired effect that we wanted to create. We didn't do a typical Hollywood score. We did we termed it a B-boy score. Yeah. It's minimal, but it's very bass heavy. All right, the same elements that they would use inside of records, we used in film to develop the same techniques that we wanted to get across. For example, if we wanted to get something like tension across, well, we would use 808s, and once you have the 808 kick drums and you have a long decay on it, something that's going like boom, well, you can get a desired effect of like, okay, something's going to happen. Something's up here. The same time we use beats to, instead of like using music. Most of the scores that you find is done with a musical score, either through keyboards or through live musicians or however they did. No, we did all our stuff. We let the beats tell the mood. So the type of beat that you heard depict the kind of mood or the type of action that was going down. So if there was a chase scene that was going down, well, the beats were more, it was more erratic. So you get more stuff that's happening, more like a boom. And when the pace is a little bit down, and you saw in the scene where Q is looking for Bishop, well, the beats slow down. It's like boom, ah, boom, ah. Well, those are the things we use the drum to signify the type of reaction that we want to get, or the type of mood that we want to create here, as opposed to using music. And that, you know, you can go deep into that, because that's getting into African rhythms and a lot of different things. You know, that's deep in black culture. So we utilize the drum, and the technique that we had to use was so different from a normal film score, because we had to use machines. We had machines and samplers. Now, they haven't yet designed the situation for film and machines to run together. You know, right now the software that they have is only good for keyboards. Well, they haven't designed it yet for S900s, for SP1200s, for
Roland
770s. Any of the samplers does not work with, you know, with the I would just say with the software they have for film today. So we had to kind of like devise our own technique of doing the score at the same time.
Sip the juice, I got enough to go around, and the thought takes place uptown.
Soundtrack consists of 14 artists.
There's a lot of people on the soundtrack. Myself, Eric B, and Rakim.
Standing on shaky ground, too close to the edge. Let's see if I know the ledge.
EPMD. Cypress Hills, I heard them in there for a few seconds.
Cover, son, or your ass out. You like my chrome, then I want the rookie pass out. Didn't have to blast out, but I did anyway. That young punk had to pay. So I just killed a man.
A lot of other different West Coast bands.
Too Short.
So you wanna be a gangster? All that shit. Smoke any motherfucker, don't even trip.
MC Pooh.
Murder is a hobby that I had since way. I live the life of a criminal and hustle each day.
Naughty by Nature.
Hey, you can smoke a spliff with a clip, but there's still no mountain high enough or wide enough to touch the naughty, nappy, nasty nigga, the nasty, trashy, whole happy pappy. That's happy to be nappy.
Teddy Riley featuring Tammy Lucas. Aaron Hall.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray my Lord my soul to keep.
Brand New Heavies.
Oh yeah.
Juvenile Committee. Big Daddy Kane.
Into the dragon, as I start the banging, the techno, thinking, the banging, the rappers on the bandwagon.
Salt and Pepper.
Dope soundtrack. That's definitely the
music,
most hardest b-boys soundtrack I've ever heard.
I think the movie's hype for the simple fact that, you know, there's a lot of movies that you go to and either the soundtrack is messed up and the movie's good, or the movie's good and the soundtrack's messed up. You know, the people work real close in to keep the people really coming from the street to see this movie in there, you know.
This is the first time they've ever had a soundtrack that had a lot of real live rap groups in there.
Not like, you know, when some movies come out and our audience go view, a lot of them leave the movie theaters mad because they feel like they're exploiting rap in the wrong way. They feel like they're exploiting the b-boy scene in the wrong way. When you're really coming from that type of poverty and whatnot, you want it to be presented to whatever audience you want to present it right.
Making it work was kind of easy because the movie itself, you know, lends itself to, I mean, it's right in the artist vein. The artist understands that they grew up in the lifestyle. They understand it's centered around them. So all we did was pretty much is just screen the movie, let them see it, and I told them, look, you guys write about anything you want to write about. You don't have to, like, you know, sit there and write something for a particular scene. So we just let them do whatever they do best. And then they came back with what I thought was very good.
But the title song, like I said, once again, was written by Rakim, he sat down and we talked about it over the phone. We went to see the movie a couple of times, and he just wrote from his heart.
It's a hardcore movie. Life in Harlem's hardcore if you were a kid growing up, you know? What's up, y'all? This is DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill.
Sandog. Be real.
Facts.
Fat.
Word up.
It's fat.
Word up. We did a song on the soundtrack called Shoot 'Em Up. And the reason we did the soundtrack, the song, it flew so good with the movie, and the movie touched us well because us growing up, we had some kind of an experience like that. But one of our own friends killed a couple of our own friends, you know, it was like a family thing. So when we saw the movie, right away, that song we had just said, man, that's perfect for
Yeah,
that.
you know, a lot of people say that ain't gonna happen. Ain't nobody's homeboy gonna smoke that homeboy, but it happens.
You know, it's like more or less like, you know, kids coming up in the neighborhood. It's like a cycle of kids. There's juice. Everybody's trying to get juice in every neighborhood. You know, and young kids come up. They see the older guys doing this, going up. You know, and then once they get out there in the street, it's time for them to do for themselves. So if they don't do right, they're gonna do wrong. If they do wrong, they be out there in the street slinging, trying to get props. You can't get props if nobody's checking for you or giving you no respect.
True.
So then you got to run with a troop or a posse of brothers, and you get together and start running brothers down and start taking blocks.
We were part of it, man, and it's something that it drags you all the way through the ground, man, through the mud. You get back up, and people who could persevere and go on, man, like us, you know, we still think of our friends, but in a way that kind of like helped us relate with this movie. As a matter of fact, it did help us relate to the movie.
Oh, it was right. It was right with it. It's right with it. The kids coming up, you know, partying, hanging out. It was right with it.
It's a black positive movie, just showing that that's how stuff really goes down in the street, though.
Yeah.
There are different gangs like that. There is one guy in a group that's just out of control, and nobody can control him. It's like that everywhere. That's why it's so many killings.
Nobody want to cooperate.
Nobody want to cooperate, so that's when it
Naturally,
goes down to
somebody got
killing.
to show who's going to be, you know.
I think you got a soundtrack that complements the movie, and I think
That's what happens when you don't get, you know, when you go to a movie and say like, oh, the soundtrack sucked. It doesn't complement the movie. Or the movie sucked. It didn't complement the soundtrack, vice versa. But this one right here complement the whole thing. We didn't overshadow the scenes. You know what I'm saying? We gave the scenes time to breathe. And that's what's pretty difficult, dealing with the situation that we work with machines. We didn't want to overshadow. Some people might do it where they overshadow, have too much music, too much going on, and just forget about the scenes and worry about the sound or the score of it. What we try to like give it an equal balance.
Cool. Great.
All right.
Good. All right.
I don't know if it's good. You can use it.
I have my hat on. I got my, this hat wasn't supposed to be like this. So this is for. I was just pumping the Juice movie to wear this hat because you don't wear a hat with a suit, but I do anyway. I don't.
Yo, Paul, thank you very much.
All right, man.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Keep it up.
All right.